Hi everyone, this is Gayle. Well, you know, it's that time again. My recipe box is here and it's in a bigger box, which means I ordered something extra and I'm not really sure I remember what I ordered. Whenever I need something, I write it down on a list. And then when I know it's getting time for my box to be packed and shipped, I'll add whatever I've got on there that I want to spend that month. And I forgot what I put on the list for this. I also do not have what we call a cheat sheet that gives us all the information. I do know that this month's recipe box is DIY gifts. And, you know, Christmas is coming. And matter of fact, I've been making gifts, but also I've been making, this is a skin healing balm that I used, Bumps and Boo Boo is what I call it, Bumps and Boo Boo salve. It's healing. It's for burns, cuts, scrapes, bumps, and bruises. So I've made 5 of these, and I've also made 5 of these Tiger Balm packages. So those are going to go into my shop. I call it Mimi's Muscle Magic. And of course I'm Mimi. But I'm sorry if I'm a little congested today. I'm not sure what it is. Ragweed is gone, but for some reason I'm just a little stuffy this morning. So please excuse me. But because I don't have the cheat sheet, I don't have anything to tell you as far as the value of what's going on, what's in the box. But let's go through it anyway. Who needs all that information when you can just look at the box? So let me rearrange my camera and I'll be right back. Okay, here is my box, and you can see it's a different size than what I usually get. So I think I remember now what I ordered. I think I ordered, never mind. I don't know that that's what it is anyway. We'll just open the box and see. And my packing list will tell me what I ordered. Oh, okay. I ordered some cetyl alcohol, which is this. And I did order 2. Cetyl alcohol you add to some of your products like lotions and balms and things to make it really smooth. And it melts just like your other carrier oils do. And in more paper. And there's my recipe box. So let me get this out. Then I can get rid of this big box. I also ordered another essential oil that's new to our company. Okay, sorry. Now let me Now I did substitute an oil. I think this is the one I substituted. But let's look and see what's in our box. We have Autumn Air, which is a really good blend to use in your fall products. I have Pine. And I have Cinnamon. So the one that I traded, because I wanted to try the new black spruce. I've had some recipes that I've looked at that had this in it, and I decided I would try it. And you know what? I'm going to smell it right now. That does smell good. But the other oil that is in this month's box was sweet orange. But I've got several of those, so that's why I traded it with the black spruce. So I brought the orange over here just so I could show you that that is part of the box. So our extras, the bath salt soak. Who doesn't like a bath salt? We have a cosmetic tin, and this can be used for a lot of different things. Oops. First time is always a little difficult to get it off. Then after that, you just slide it. We have 2 lip balms, which I'm anxious to try. And gift tags. Gotta have tags for your gifts on jute string. We have some indigo blue mica powder. There's our information sheet, and of course our recipes. And as usual, we always have labels for the products that we make. So let me go through the recipes, see what we've got. Frosted Fir Solid Perfume. That must be what goes in here, a solid perfume. You rub it, it's like a, I don't know, like a balm, and that goes, you rub on. So that's that one. Holiday Spice Lip Balm. All right, so that's good. Winter Glow Sugar Scrub, and who doesn't like a sugar scrub? This month's roll-on, because we always get a roll-on every month, is Citrus Spark Roll-On. And Northern Lights Bath Salts. So that's what we use these for. So it's going to be interesting. And here's our diffuser blend for this month. We always have a diffuser blend and a roll-on blend. And a recipe, and this one is Warm Welcome Diffuser Blend. I bet that smells good. It's your Autumn Air Blend, orange and cinnamon. I bet that smells good. So those are our recipes for this month. And this is our little information sheet that we get. Let's see what we have. We usually have a kit that releases every month, and this month's kit is a bath salts kit. And if you want to check that out, here's the QR code. But I guess they have rose petals in there, maybe some lavender. And one of the recipes is Still Waters bath salts, because I see it right there. And let's see what else is in here. Black Friday sneak peek. Oh, everybody's looking for Black Friday. And this is for Recipe Box. Well, the first one, November 19th, is for Recipe Box subscribers only. And it's an early Black Friday sale. 26th through the 28th, Black Friday sales open to everyone. November 29th and December 1st, Cyber Weekend sales continue. And then December 2 is Giving Tuesday. So that's interesting. Okay, let me put everything back in here, because these are my 4 oils, and this is the sweet orange. I love sweet orange. I'm trying to decide. I think I will make the solid perfume, the lip balm, let me see what's in here. The Winter Glow Sugar Scrub. I've got 3 sugar scrubs already, so I probably won't make that one. The roll-on, and here's the bath salts. And since I don't take a bath, I do bathe, only I take a shower, not a bath. So I will probably not do the Northern Lights bath salts unless I make it to give to someone, which is possible. Okay. So I'll at least do these 2. So let me get my supplies together and we'll make a couple recipes. Okay. I probably have forgotten something and I will figure that out when the time comes, but I'm ready to go. And again, a lot of these oils I already had in stock, so I've taken the brand new bottles and put them in a place where I put my brand new bottles, and I'm going to be using what I had in stock. No problem. So we're going to be using this tin, and the solid perfume says 2 teaspoons of beeswax, and I usually take the things that come in a envelope or a bag or whatever and transfer them to a ball jar because it's easier to measure. So 2 teaspoons. And one thing I have learned, that looks like a teaspoon, but if you look at it from the side, it's built up, and that means it's more than a teaspoon. So I try to make sure this is as flat as possible. And I'll put them in my chocolate melter, which is right here. I'll move that over after I finish adding things. And I'll do the same thing here. I just tap, 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 and let everything fall that needs to fall. Because if you do any cooking, if something calls for a teaspoon of something, it's a level teaspoon. Okay, so there's the 2 teaspoons of beeswax. And I'm going to leave that out because I'll probably need it for the next one too. Let me see. And 2 teaspoons of almond oil. Of course, I always buy the big bottles because I use a lot. Well, this would melt better if I turn it on, wouldn't it? So 2 teaspoons of almond oil, not olive oil. And one thing I should have done and didn't is to pull out a paper towel to lay my spoons and things on. Even though this is a silicone mat, I don't like to get it covered in oil, because then when I do my next project, it just is a mess. A little bit of almond oil left in there. Okay, 2 teaspoons of almond oil. And we need to heat these. You can either do it in a double boiler, or like I did, use a chocolate melter. Here's my chocolate melter. It's something that I can do here at my work table, and I like to use it whenever possible. Let me see, I'm going to move this out of the way. There. And we're going to let this melt. And beeswax melts at about 150 degrees. So you never want to put your essential oils in when you're melting beeswax, because you'll lose the essential oil will evaporate, and you'll lose the benefits and the smell of what you're doing. Now, I'll be honest, I got this recipe by email a couple weeks ago, and since I had everything, I went ahead and tried it. Actually, it wasn't this recipe, it was the lip balm recipe. And it didn't have enough beeswax in it. It never did really get good and hard. It was too soft. It was more like a balm than it was a lip balm. So I reheated it, but when I reheated it, since it had the essential oils in it, I lost the smell of the essential oil. So I'm going to pause the camera while this melts, and it's like watching water boil. It's kind of boring, and I'll be back. Okay, it's close to being melted, so I'm turning the camera back on, but you can tell when it's getting close because they start melting from the outside in, and I've gotten just now a bunch of little insides. I checked the temperature. It says 153, so it is melting the beeswax. As I said, it melts at about 150. So I'm going to continue stirring until I don't know if you can see them or not, but all these little particles that are in there, that's the unmelted wax. And it just happens all of a sudden. All of a sudden they'll be melted. And I took it off the heat too soon. But I like to stir it until that's all melted. Okay, so now all those little shadows are gone. I'm going to let it cool a little bit. It's 154. I need to let it get down closer to 145. Let me move this out a little bit before I add my essential oils. I'm sorry, it was solidifying again, sitting it on the cold mat. The temperature here in Virginia has dropped considerably. It was really nice for a couple of days, and now it's really cold, which is the way Virginia is. They say Virginia is for lovers, but I think it's for lovers of changing temperature. So let's see. So now we're going to add 4 drops of sweet orange. Maybe I better check this temperature first. Yeah, it's down to 140. So 4 drops of sweet orange, and it's beginning to solidify already. And 4 drops of autumn air. And 2 drops of pine. And I'm only going to put this back on here till it just liquefies again. See how it's thickened already? I don't want it to sit here and evaporate. And then I'm going to take a pinch of the blue mica powder. Now this powder, if you use just a pinch, like I said, it will not color your skin. It just adds a little specialness to it. Don't want this to get too hot and evaporate my oils. Actually, it'd be easier if I use one in a shaker bottle than this one, but I'm going to use what they sent me. I have some shaker bottles. I also have some little measuring spoons that show me what a pinch is. That's a drop. There's a pinch. A pinch is 1/16 of a teaspoon. And I'm going to put that in. We'll put this aside and put it back in the thing later. Because right now I'm just more interested in getting it combined. But you stir it until the blue is thoroughly mixed. And sometimes, if I were working in the kitchen where I had access to my stove or microwave, this would not have to be so complicated. And I'm going to pour it into the tin. Actually, there's a bunch of it there on my stirrer. Let me stick that in there and let it melt. You see, I'm not leaving it on the heat very long, just enough to be able to pour it into the tin. Whoops, stuck my finger in it. I'm just going to let it sit there and cool. Now I need to clean out my melter before I start the lip balm, so let me run do that real quick and then I'll be right back. Okay, that didn't take long. That's one good thing about working with oils. Most of your cleanup is just with a paper towel because you don't want to rinse this down your sink because it will harden as soon as it hits your cold water pipes and it could cause a blockage. So I'll wipe mine out with paper towels until they're just about totally, it's gone, and then I start all over again. So okay, so now I'm going to do the Holiday Spice lip balm. This is the perfume here. It's almost whole, it's almost cooled off. But these come with the top, of course. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that your little thing inside that pushes your lip balm up is all the way to the bottom. Most of the time they are already set, but like that one I needed to turn a couple of times. I only had to turn once. So make sure it's down or else you're not going to have enough room for your lip balm. So my recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of beeswax. But I told you earlier, I tried this myself last week when I got the recipe, and the 1/2 teaspoon did not work for me. But so I used 1 teaspoon, but that might even be a little bit too much. So I'm just going to put the 1 teaspoon and make sure that there's nothing extra in here. And maybe just get rid of a few pellets. Whoops, making a mess. So I'm using a little bit more than 1/2 teaspoon, but a little bit less than 1 teaspoon. You need to try this yourself, and if you're not sure, you can not put your essential oils in it. Finish everything else, pour it into the lip balm tubes. If it doesn't feel firm enough or whatever, if it's too firm, you can add some more almond oil. But that way you're not evaporating your essential oils. If it works okay, then pour it back in here and remelt it. Add your essential oils and pour it back in the tube and you're all set. And I usually do that just to make sure that everything is going to work before I do a video, but it's late doing the video now anyway, so I didn't want to do anything else. 1 1/4 teaspoon of solid coconut oil. So here's the one. You just have to be really careful when you're doing these. Different parts of the country has different weather, of course, and the temperature of your room. There are a lot of things that can affect these oils, so I just try to use exactly what they call for and then adjust from there if I have to. Okay, so there's 1 teaspoon. And 1/4 of a teaspoon. And we'll let this melt. My beeswax is already melted. That's unusual. Of course, it's still warm from when I did my other recipe, so maybe that's what it is. So 1¼ teaspoon of coconut oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of almond oil, I don't think that was exactly, I'll put a few more drops. I don't think I had exactly 1/4 of a 1/2 teaspoon. And these are almost melted already, so that's good. Now I am going to take this off the heat. Actually, what I'll do is I'll turn the heat off. Yeah, because that's at 153, and you don't want it to be much over 145 if you can help it. So let me go ahead and put two drops of orange. Let me make sure the temperature's down first. No, it's still a little too hot. You know, stirring does a couple of things. When you stir it when it's melting, it helps to melt things quicker because you're dispersing the heat through the rest of the solution. But when you're trying to cool things off, it introduces cool air to your hot items. See, that's down to 133 already. I can see it beginning to harden. So you just have to play with it. So since it's down there, I'm going to add my 2 drops of sweet orange. And 1 drop of autumn air. And since I've turned this off, it's really not heating it. I might just have to reheat it a little bit so it'll pour into the lip tubes. But I don't want it to get over 145 because that would mean it'll evaporate the essential oils. It's 128, so it's still in the safe range. Just making sure I've got everything off the edges. And I'm going to pour it into these tubes. Okay, so I've got my 2 tubes filled, and you'll notice, maybe you can't see there, but see if I can pull it up. It sort of sinks in the middle as it cools. That's okay. If you've got any extra oil left in here, you can remelt it and drop it in there. I don't really worry about it. So now these need to cool. Everything needs to cool this month. And this is my solid perfume. And I'll use a little bit on my finger. And you can see it doesn't show up blue on my finger. And put it on my pulse points. It's a nice, subtle smell. I don't know about you, but I do not care for heavily scented perfumes. Oh, look, it's all over the sides too. I kind of overflowed it a little bit. Trying to get it all in there. But I like something that smells natural but really nice. And this does smell really nice. But it's not a strong perfume. So let me put... I had to get another roll of paper towels when I stopped a little while ago because I ran out of paper towels. But I'm going to put this on the bottom, I think, my label. Which, of course, is on the bottom. It's always on the bottom. And this is the Frosted Solid perfume. And this time I'm not going to forget to write the date on it. Today is, wow, November 10th. That's the lip balm. I'll put it up here too. So this way I'll know what this is and how long is here. There's no water in this, so this should last quite a while, maybe even up to a year. And these, those are going to have to cool a little bit more before I put the top on. But I will. And another little secret, if you take, I keep alcohol here in a spray bottle. I'm going to cover it so I don't get it in my lip balm. But if you use this, spray your lip balm tube or any other tube that you're using. Even a bottle, if you're adding a label to a bottle. Wipe it off with a little bit of alcohol first. It gets rid of the wax, the oil, and everything that's on there. And I'm going to put this one on here. And I do believe it's not real hot now, so I think I can put the top on. This one had a little overflow. It wasn't really an overflow, I just wasn't directly over it when I started. Pouring it, I was slightly off. And I will make another label for this one. And it should be solid at the bottom. So what I like to do is, like, there's this little bit sticking up over here. I take that and just kind of fold it over. And I know you can't see my face, but I'm going to try this. That's nice. And the orange, you can't really, it's hard to explain, but you're trying to, when you smell it, it's like, that smells like something I'm familiar with. And it does smell like orange, but it's very faint. Very nice. I like that. I decided I would go ahead and make these other two recipes only because they're easy to make and I will give them as gifts. I do the sugar scrub first. And I've already gotten this. That's 1/4 cup of sugar. 1 teaspoon of the bath salt blend. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought the bath salts would go into the sugar scrub, but it's probably to make it a little bit more exfoliating. And I'm going to pour this into a jar after I'm finished, so I'm not worried about that. But I didn't clean my teaspoon. Before I put the bath salts in there. So 1 teaspoon of bath salts. If you want to look at it, it looks like it's got some Himalayan pink salt. I think it's got some Dead Sea salt. It's on the outside. Okay. I'm going to leave this open because that is going to be used in the bath salts. Let's see. 2 tablespoons of almond oil. Oh, I didn't read my directions very well. It says if you use the bath salt option, which is, it's an option to add that teaspoon of bath salts to grind it until it's fine like the sugar, and I didn't do that, and there's no way I can get it out, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it the way it is, and maybe I'll put all of it in a grinder later. Sorry, I didn't read my directions. So anyway, in a separate bowl, combine the almond oil and essential oils. So let me get my other little bowl. Almond oil and essential oil. So it's 2 tablespoons of almond oil. There's one. Almond oil is really good for your skin. So the sugar will exfoliate. And the almond oil nourishes. And let's see. And essential oils. So I will need 4 drops of orange. And 2 drops of pine. And again, it calls for a pinch of this indigo blue. This is 1/8 teaspoon, which I believe is what I had. Now 1/8 on this says it's a dash. Let me see. I've got laid things on top of my actually this is going to go in later after I pour in this. So let me mix this. And pour it in here. I love this this is a Dollar Tree silicone spoon that I got in the kitchen department there. And it's really nice because it being silicone, it helps you get all the stuff out of your bowls. And then mix them up. The blue does give it a pretty color. Gotta be careful doing that. If my dog thinks it's somebody knocking on the door, she starts barking. Okay, and I buy these little mason jars. This is the crystal cut because they're very pretty. But I use this a lot for my sugar scrubs and things like that. So you just spoon this in here. And of course I loaded up my spoon too much. This is the handiest little thing. I think it came with my melter, but it just really is good to scoop up things that you spill because it's really flat. So don't fill your spoon up as much as I did. But you put it in a jar. And since I got this dirty already, I'll just use that. I'm just going to wipe this where the top will hit. And I will make it look pretty. If I'm going to give this to somebody, I want it to look pretty. And I'll use this label. This is the Winter Glow Sugar Scrub. Again, I'm going to put the date on it. Except I don't know what I did with my marker. I'm sure it's here somewhere. There it is. But again, because there's no water in it, this should last a long, long time. And I've already got 2 sugar scrubs in my shower. I may end up putting this in there. But I put that on top. And there's recipe number 3. Doesn't that look pretty in the jar? And it smells good. It's a nice sugar scrub. And what I would do is you can buy little, 2 things. You could buy the little inexpensive plastic tiny spoons. Matter of fact, I got some at Dollar Tree in the party section. They're silver looking. I may even have one in here that I can show you. Yeah, here's a... They come in a package. The little silver plastic spoons. You can take one of these and put an elastic or a ribbon or something around your jar and give it this way so that they have a spoon, because you don't want them to, you don't want your, or even yourself, you don't want to put your fingers in your products, because your fingers have bacteria on them. No matter how much you wash them, they're going to have bacteria on them. And I like to use, I have a gold stretchy thing that I use a lot at Christmas time, and I just tie it around the lid and tie my spoon on that, and that makes a really nice gift. I also have little small wooden spoons that I got for another project I was doing, but that would even go well with this because some people like the natural things like wood. So let me put this aside. I'm getting a table full here. All the stuff I need to wash. So the sugar scrub is okay. The other ingredient I want to use is this Natrosorb bath powder. It makes the oils distribute better. It makes it smooth, and it helps the oils not, you know, when you put water, like a oil in your bath water, it just sits there and globs. And the Natrosorb bath powder, if you mix the oil with this first, it'll smooth out and kind of incorporate itself in the water. So I'm going to do that. So let's see what we got here. The Northern Lights bath salts. We are going to use 1/4 cup of the bath salt blend. That should be just about the finish of this bag. And now that it's empty and I can get to it, I can tell you the ingredients is Epsom salt, pink Himalayan salt, Hawaiian salt, and Dead Sea salt. So that's what's in the bath soak, salt soak. So there's the recipe for that. And 1 to 2 teaspoons, okay, in a small bowl. I always get ahead of myself. I need another small bowl. Okay, let me do it by the instructions. In a small bowl, combine the almond oil, which is 1 teaspoon, I'm getting worse the older I get. I think I know better how to do something, and I find out I really don't. So 1 teaspoon of almond oil, the essential oils. So we will use 2 drops of autumn air, two drops of pine, and this also uses the mica powder. So I don't even have to clean my spoon. I'm using the same thing. It's another 1/8 of a teaspoon. That goes in with the salt. And this is where the Natrosorb comes in. And it's combine the almond oil, essential oils, and 1 to 2 teaspoons. Oh, this isn't open. But this is what a lot of the products come in, and to me that's difficult to measure from. So I usually take it out and put it in a small jar, which is how I got those jars to begin with, before I started using them to store stuff in. And My teaspoon now has oil on it, so let me wipe the oil off my teaspoon. And it says 1 to 2, so I'll do maybe a heaping teaspoon. Just making sure I'm putting it in the right bowl. I'll add a little bit more. And you probably ought to wear a mask when you use this powder because it is very fine. It goes in the air a lot. Stir this. And what will happen is this Natrasorb is going to absorb the oil. Which makes it easier to get into the water or whatever you use. Add the oil mixture to the salts and stir until evenly mixed. But first, I need a clean spoon. I've got too many spoons, but I have one of those rolling carts that I got mine at IKEA. The craft cart or whatever you call them. Michael sells them, but they're cheaper at IKEA. I'm going to mix this blue powder with the salt. Okay. And then I'm going to pour this in. But that Natrasorb is also available on the Simply Earth website. Just, you know, I told you I like these spoons because they get everything, and they really do. Sorry for the silence. I'm thinking as I'm working, and I know I don't think out loud, so I apologize. Let me put that there. And I've got another jar, just like the first one. That's why it's important to label. Both of these are going to be blue, but one's a bath salt and one's a sugar scrub. So you want to make sure you have it labeled. And what you would do with this, you pretty much need to put the whole thing. You could put about 2 tablespoons into your bath. So anywhere from 2 tablespoons up to the whole thing. I think it says 2 tablespoons is the size, and that's about what we made here. Well, this isn't going to be as easy. So again, and let me find let's see, here's the bath salt again. I don't know why I keep putting this pen away. Oh, that's not it. It's 11:10. That one's got enough room. I write so big. And I'll just put this across here. And somebody will get this at Christmas. So there you go. There are all my recipes that I made, except for the roll-on and the diffuser blend. So let me review. Let me wipe up my mess here. I tell you, I'm going to have to clean up a bit, and then I'll review when I come back. Okay, those were a lot of fun. Sorry that I came in at the last minute and decided to do those other two recipes, but I'm glad I did because they're fun to make. And those two were the Northern Lights bath salts, the Winter Glow sugar scrub. Those two are going to be gifts. The Frosted Fir Solid Perfume, it's in the little tin, and that smells really good. And then 2 lip balms. The Holiday Spice Lip Balm. Now these ought to be, I think I did. So that's our gift giving recipes for this year. They sometimes they do another one at another time of the year, but this one is mainly to make things for your Christmas gifts. And who doesn't like a natural homemade gift? And this would be so good. Any of these would be good to give people. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to make a bulk order of the, actually I'm going to make candy cane. Simply Earth has a blend called candy cane, and it smells really good. And I'm going to make lip balms for everybody. I take them to the people in my Sunday school class. But lip balms out of the candy cane. So that ought to be good for Christmas. And plus it just feels so good. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you putting up with my craziness. It's funny how you get used to having that cheat sheet to kind of guide you, and I'm trying to do this on my own and not doing a very good job, I'm afraid. But if you're interested in subscribing to this recipe box, you saw me open the recipe box. If you're interested in that, you would also get a free big bonus box. If you sign up using my code below, it's going to be in the description below. It will give you $15 off of your first box. So instead of $44.99, it's going to be $29.99. So you can't beat that. And then you would also, at checkout, there's another code below. If you use that code at checkout, you'll get a free $45 e-gift certificate after your recipe box is paid for. So that's always fun because you can buy all kinds of things. You could buy the Natrasorb. You can buy beeswax. You can buy almond oil. Although almond oil comes in your big bonus box. There's essential oils, carrier oils, containers, spray bottles. Just you name it. Anything that you can use with essential oils is on their page. And you get $45 worth for nothing. Can't beat that. So thanks again. Hope everyone has fun making their gifts this year. And if I were you, if you were interested in this box, I would get it quickly because this one sells out really quickly. And it's probably getting close to being sold out now. So, if you want it, you better get it quick. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or leave a comment on this video. I do look at my comments and I do respond. So thanks again. Have a wonderful November. Be thankful for everything you've got. Bye-bye.